you'd like to think that he can do a job every now and again. Obviously, he didn't start in the game, so how does he start if he's going to play in that position? How do they bring him into the game? What would his role be? Would it be playing up against a back four or high up against centre-backs, or would he play as almost a false nine and wander into that position from midfield positions? But listen, it worked at the weekend. Will it work for the long foreseeable future? I'm not so sure it will, but credit to Mikel Arteta for giving it a go, and credit to Moreno for pulling it off.
Yeah.
It was interesting to see that Gary said Mikel Arteta enjoys trying to work out these solutions. I suspect he doesn't, does he? I'm sure he'd rather have a striker there.
Of course he would, yeah. He'd rather have the options, because when you look at the players, Sterling, Trossard, Nwaneri, you wondered how they were going to line up, and it's obviously Trossard in that false nine, but they're all sort of small, tricky players that obviously got the ability, but they just couldn't break Leicester City down. And you thought, right, they need to do something, and then to obviously bring Moreno on. And to be fair to him, his movement was brilliant. It was the movement of a striker, like you say. Whether that's something he's going to use going forward, I'm sure it's going to be another option for him, because you know you've got the players that can get the deliveries into the box. If his movement is good and that presence.
Also injured, the forgotten man at the Emirates Stadium, something had to change. So now Tomiyasu has confirmed that he has undergone a new surgery on his knee, saying, "I'm sorry I haven't been able to tell my fans about my situation in the past 6 months. It has been the toughest period in my career, and it carries on a bit more, but I won't give up." In the growing collection of Arsenal and their players posing injured, first it was Bukayo Saka, then Gabriel Jesus, followed by Kai Havertz, and now you've got Takehiro Tomiyasu. You know how bad it is right now that even our players on loan, in particular Reece Nelson, are also posing in the exact same manner. What is it about Arsenal right now and injuries? Are we cursed at this point? But in terms of Tomiyasu himself, a knee injury keeping him out for the entire season. According to Sami Mokbel, it's even possible that going into next season, Tomiyasu could miss the start of the season. The idea behind it is this has been a long-term issue for Tomiyasu. So going to get a surgery to fix that is to eliminate any long-term injuries, take care of the player's health, and also for fans it's time to understand that it's not easy for the player. Of course we want to see them week in, week out. We have seen Tomiyasu be one of our most versatile players when he's fit and available, reliable in the big games, especially against Mo Salah. There's no chance that he wants to be injured on purpose. Over an Arsenal career that's been littered with so many injuries, from muscular problems to now knee issues, at 26 years of age, having signed a brand new contract last season, earning over £100,000 a week. Once upon a time it was once of Bayern Munich, but Arsenal said no. But now you think about Arsenal's depth in defence, from Lewis Skelly and Calafiori on the left hand side, Timber and Benoit on the right. Even though Tomiyasu can play as a centre-back, I wonder if Arsenal look for a more specialist profile instead. Would the even bigger question be, how is Tomiyasu going to be post-injury? Having missed over a year of football, is he going to be at the same level as before? But one Arsenal player that has been fully fit and firing, of course, is our star boy Ethan Nwaneri. After a masterclass against Leicester, having completed a total of 7 dribbles, more than any other player in the Premier League that weekend, Nwaneri now has 7 goals and 1 assist this season. And in terms of under 21 players, which ranks him as number 1 in all of Europe for under 21 goal moments per 90, a whopping 0.97 per game over Verts, Shirky, Yamal and Musiala, we are now getting generational comparisons. Numbers of Nwaneri comparing to Lamine Yamal, in which Nwaneri is outshining the Barcelona star boy. But we have to understand with less minutes played, Nwaneri's numbers will definitely be skewed. Despite of that though, with 8 goal contributions and 24 appearances, 5 man of the match performances and 8 starts. As former Chelsea player Joe Cole said, with Nwaneri you can't mark it. Those close touches, I don't want to say it, but it's like Lionel Messi. I don't want to put any more pressure on a young lad's shoulders, but I'm sure he'll deal with it. He's a beautiful player. The thing right now with Nwaneri is not a Arsenal fans putting the pressure on him. It's the rival fans around us that are looking at Nwaneri and appreciating him straight away, comparing him to the likes of Yamal, Lionel Messi. What Arsenal actually have is a potential £100 million superstar. When you go back to the graphic of under 21 goal involvements, you see the likes of Verts and Musiala, profiles that I believe Arsenal have needed, but not when you've got Ethan Nwaneri. Similar in terms of a maverick profile, a natural ball carrier in the final third. More about quality than he is persistence. This could be our solution. Unlike Martin Odegaard, he is more of a natural number 10. His first intention is always a final action, a positive thinker, where Martin Odegaard is far more of a number 8. Nwaneri is offering Arsenal a profile they haven't had for a very long time. We're talking more towards the KDB Bruno Fernandes, a final action player at still 17 years of age. Having now got 3 league goals and 4 starts this season, only 2 shy of Yamal's 5, who has started 18 games. It's not to say that Nwaneri is now better than Yamal, it's just showing the elite level of numbers. We're comparing him to a European Cup winner at 17 because he deserves the hype. A player that every time you watch, it gets you off your seat straight away. The type of player that you pay very good money to go and watch. That's why Arsenal are trying so hard to platform him. For a player as Fabrizio Romano confirms, Man City tried to sign in 2023. He was subject to interest 18 months ago and discussions took place in the background over a potential move, but Arsenal have been able to get Ethan's trust and the green light to stay. According to reports, Nwaneri was offered a record amount of wages by both Man City and Chelsea, trying to convince the Arsenal youngster to go to their academies. But having come through Hill End and being an Arsenal boy through and through, Arsenal also making him the youngest ever player in Premier League history, he saw a path where he decided to stay. And even at this young age, you can say the rest is history. But the real question is yet to come though. With our star attacker Bukayo Saka still out injured, once he returns for full fitness, where exactly is Nwaneri going to play? The answer for me has to be as a right number 10. The exact current role of Martin Odegaard, but a player that I believe can play on the left hand side. Having made 7 passes into the penalty area in the game against Leicester, the most of any player over the last game week, Martin Odegaard's a player that thrives deeper in the pitch, coming onto the game, as we saw in the game against Leicester. His stand-up moments coming in the second half, and was allowed to orchestrate. Nwaneri is more profile that excels in tight spaces, with a better natural burst of pace. The idea of him alongside Bukayo Saka, Arsenal would have a more dynamic partnership, where Odegaard isn't able to overlap, Nwaneri certainly can, excellent on both left and right feet, offering Saka a more dynamic partner. But moving Odegaard to left also solves more problems as well, offering our runners and Martinelli a more creative profile. Think about the amount of times you've seen Odegaard drift towards the left-hand side, and instantly look far more creative. Being a far better straight passer, the angle suits him better and he definitely looks a lot more threatening. Ultimately, this is a great problem to have. I've got my own solutions, but let me know your own down below in the comments. How do the likes of Nwaneri, Odegaard and Saka play together? It just goes to show though, but in terms of the myth that Arsenal don't give youngsters chances, having seen the emergence of Miles Lewis-Skelly and Ethan Nwaneri, but with the recent centre-forward crisis, it makes you wonder what would have happened if Chido Obi Martin had stayed. A centre-forward that had so much potential but left Arsenal for Man United. And according to Sam Dean, Arsenal and Mikel Arteta presented a plan for Chido Obi, where he would transition from the under-18s to under-23s this season, alongside first-team training. But Obi Martin wanted quicker progression, and Man United offered a significantly higher financial offering. Money is money, and of course it's always going to be decisive. But at United, where you've got Rasmus Hojlund and Joshua Zirkzee, a far more unstable mid-table club. Having seen Mikel Arteta throw in Nwaneri and Lewis-Skelly, Obi Martin also would have gotten a chance. Instead, now battling for minutes at a mid-table club, hoping they can make their way back into the top half. Moving on to the new forward targets. Despite a star performance from Mikel Merino off the bench, having scored 2 goals against Leicester and saved the game for Arsenal, here he was alongside gaffer Mikel Arteta, who was giving him a piggy bank in Arsenal's latest training session. A game changer off the bench to help Arsenal win the game. But with 3 of our top goal scorers all out injured, as things stands, there's a very good chance that Arsenal could end the year without a single player reaching more than 10 league goals. Despite of that, still fighting for a title. What I see in Merino is a short-term solution. In certain game states where Arsenal are chasing goals, a better option coming off the bench than as a starter. But as things stand, we do have a lack of options. With the front 3 of Nwaneri, Trossard and Sterling starting against Leicester, in terms of Raheem itself, it wasn't his best performance. In many ways, a stinker. But according to John Cross, people behind the scenes at Arsenal speak so highly of Raheem Sterling's commitment in training, with the determination and attitude around the place. For a player that has seen as England's highest ever goal producer in Premier League history, with a whopping level of goal contributions, having seen him against Leicester, what I saw was a player severely lacking confidence, belief in himself to take on his man, but also a player that burst onto the scene at 17 years of age, has been playing week in week out since 2013, and has racked up a whopping 568 appearances in his entire career at 30. It seems like Arsenal may have to find other options, but with the transfer window currently closed, could they go for a free agent instead? With Mikel Arteta already saying that Arsenal will explore options if they are available, there could be an opportunity coming out of Saudi Arabia. As according to reports in Brazil, Roberto Firmino is asked to leave Al Ahly, and he is now in talks to terminate his contract, with Arsenal and Flamengo both monitoring the situation. A former Liverpool legend that left them back in 2023, having gone to Saudi Arabia and earned his big money, 2 years in which he scored 18 goals in 59 appearances. This is
involved in the summer plan, preparing the signings, preparing the positions they want to cover and they have to cover in the summer. So Enzo Maresca is 100% involved, and also Chelsea are already planning for the summer window. It's going to be an important one. For the Blues, it's also going to be important, guys, to clarify what happens at Arsenal in terms of contracts, because we said about the injury of Kai Havertz, but they have some proper gems at Arsenal. And so first of all, congratulations to Arsenal, because producing and trusting young talents like Lewis-Skelly and like Ethan Nwaneri is not easy at all. Premier League football, Champions League football, always be competitive, always be at the best level possible. A lot of pressure, a lot of criticism sometimes in modern football, but Arsenal are trusting their youngsters because of the injuries, of course, but not only. Even when players were available, Arteta was always giving a chance to these players. And now what we can say is that Arsenal is making progress on new contracts for Lewis Kelly and for Nwaneri. Nwaneri is doing great. Nwaneri is doing fantastic. This boy is incredible. Also Lewis Kelly. I can guarantee to you that Thomas Tuchel is following these two players for the future of England, especially Lewis Kelly. Maybe in March could be already involved in the squad for England national team. It's not guaranteed yet, but it's just an idea they are discussing internally, Thomas Tuchel and his coaching staff. What's important to say on Nwaneri is that the progress on new contract for him and for Lewis Kelly is very good in this moment. So the expectation is to get everything ready very soon, and so the idea is to advance, but already the recent contracts have been very positive, and so Arsenal are preparing the future with Nwaneri and with Lewis Kelly. Then guys, it's important to say something on another top talent, a player I love personally, Nico Pass. I was following this boy since he was in the youth team of Real Madrid. I was there in Madrid 2 years ago. I had the chance to meet him. He's a super serious boy, top talent, 6 goals, 4 assists in Serie A on his first season as a regular starter, 20 years old, Nico Pass. He will be called up by Argentina again in March. It's a decision already made by Lionel Scaloni, so if there will be no injuries, Nico Pass will be there. But it's also important to say on Nico Pass that Real Madrid keep monitoring every single game of Nico. They really like him internally at Real Madrid. They believe that solution sends the player to Como and then have a buyback clause was the best solution possible.